Another edition of Riding Home. Dean Legge, Dylan Webber. Let's get right into Georgia and Texas A&M. I hate to be this way. It looks like the biggest story of this weekend, unless something very odd happens, is Georgia's going to be in another rainstorm. And I just, Dylan, that's not what you want for your offense to deal with. Honestly, it's not what I want to deal with. I'm certain it's not what you want to deal with. How is Georgia going to perform better in what looks like some accumulating rain for sure? And I don't think this field will be sloppy, but it's rain again, and they did not look good the last time they were in the rain. They did win by
I mean,
21. They did win by 21 points,
at
though.
least, at least they have experience in it now. This isn't something they haven't seen this season, so they know what they're getting out of it, at least.
You think they were practicing with wet balls the whole week? I mean, we've not. I mean, Kirby and them have closed practice now, I think, for 3 straight weeks. Did they open it for a second there against Missouri?
Mm-hmm.
So,
1 week.
So one day in the last 3 or so weeks, it's been hard to know exactly what they're doing out there. Short answer is we don't know.
I mean, they definitely are doing wet balls. That's something that they do. If there's even a slight chance of rain, they'll at least work on it a little bit. I'm guessing they're doing a lot of it this week.
So, what are you expecting from A&M in this game? If Kirby yesterday said to us that, the receivers were something that we're really trying to fight through, what is that? What is A&M's situation coming into this game? You're talking about a program that's got some, losses, double-digit losses to good teams. They still have to play Georgia and LSU. Most of their wins are over teams that are sort of not spectacular. What's the odds of them pulling an upset in one of these last few weeks of the season?
I mean, that's possible. But Georgia's kind of already had their screw up. They're not going to sleepwalk through a game like they did against South Carolina again. And if they hadn't lost to South Carolina, I think you would worry about that more.
Mm-hmm.
Just getting lazy towards the end. And this is a team that can take advantage of those opportunities because Kirby said, hey, yeah, they have 3 losses, but I think we all know who their 3 losses are. And that's, true.
Yeah.
Those teams are all solid teams, and this is another solid team, but they have the capability of taking advantage of teams if they screw up. If you turn the ball over 4 times, Georgia would lose.
So the big thing to remember here, as this season draws to a close, is that you've got everything in front of you if you're Georgia, and you've got 2 games to get your shit right, where you're going to be a double-digit favorite or more in the contests. I mean, they are a 13-point favorite. That line has moved backwards just slightly, Dylan. They're looking at somewhere around. I want to make sure I get this right. About an 80+% chance to win the game, according to the line. In terms of the percentage for the money line, which is different than the actual line. Although they often go right on top of each other. I mean, you're going to have to bet $550 to win $100 if you were betting on the Dogs. Would you make that bet? Would you lay down $500?
No, not for that kind of return.
Would you bet $100 on A&M to win $400?
I wouldn't do that either. Just 'cause I don't have that kind of money. $100. I don't believe in A&M that much, but I also don't believe in Georgia $500 worth just to make 100.
So you're looking at about, as it relates to the money line, not quite 85% chance. So the money line likes Georgia a little bit more than the spread does. I should note that the money line has stayed the same for a little bit of time, whereas the spread has dropped slightly today at about 1 o'clock. What is Georgia getting into with Kellen Mond?
Well, maybe the best quarterback they've played all year, a quarterback who can legitimately run the ball. Ian Book could run the ball okay, but he was more quick. Kellen Mond is quick, but also straight up fast. And with the backfield they run, they do a split backfield, and Kirby talked a bit about that just throughout the week. And he said that it makes almost a wishbone, almost a triple option-like offense back there when you have a guy who can run and 2 backs back there, because you can really just attack from any single angle. You can get them on both sides on the outside, up the middle, in between the tackles, in between the guards. with three backs, with three guys who can run back there, you just have a lot of options to run the ball.
You know, the big thing about Texas A&M is they certainly look like a good offense, but the question is how many. And I think this is a legitimate question to ask when you start talking about their situation statistically. What did they do against Clemson? What did they do against Auburn? What did they do against Alabama? Obviously, Alabama, that was a 47-28 game, just a lopsided win on the for Bama on the road. And by the way, A&M has won 4 straight games in a row. So they go to Clemson and they manage to score 10 points in the game. So not ideal. 236 yards passing, 53 yards rushing. Not great. Again, we know Alabama's defense is not what it once was. And you got Mon going for 264 and Bama stopping A&M for only 125. Now, A&M only ran it 28 times against Alabama. I'm not sure I totally understand that. And then against Auburn, again with a low rushing total, they're going with Kellen Mond more than anything. They only rushed it 21 times, 9 of which, so not quite half of which were Kellen Mond runs and or sacks. They only wound up with 56 yards rushing against Auburn. This is where I would be concerned if I were an A&M person. I mean, you start looking at the situation. Georgia's wanting to make you one-dimensional. It sounds like that A&M is going to just go ahead and do that.
Do it for them?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how great a scenario that is. I mean, looking at this right here against Clemson, about I'll just do the math so I don't have to, so the audience can actually get the actual numbers. They had 69 offensive plays, 42 of them were passes against Clemson. They were losing that game. Maybe that's the reason why. Against Alabama, 42 passes out of 70 plays, way more than half. When you start looking at the Auburn game, 49 passes. 49 passes. Scored 17 points against Auburn in the fourth quarter, but almost 50 of their plays were passing. That means I'm just looking at this quickly. It looks like just to me about 67 to 70% of their plays are passing plays.
That's not ideal. If you want to be Georgia, you got to run the ball
effectively.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, that's what South Carolina did. It is hard to do that against Georgia, and they seem to be getting better at it. And when this game seems to me like Notre Dame light. Just looking at it real quickly, and I have not watched a lot of A&M like I have some of these other schools, just because they're in the West. The game I saw them play was against Arkansas. Not an ideal situation. I mean, they played like shit in that game. But when you look at Ian Book and what he did against Georgia, Notre Dame threw it 47 times. They only ran it 14. Now, if they only run the ball 14 times against Georgia, they're going to lose Texas A&M. You can see to me why, Dylan.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I bet they'll run the ball more than that, but they are also going to look for those short passes that a lot of teams have tried to do against Georgia. Notre Dame, Auburn, Missouri, they all went for those kind of passes, and I'm sure A&M will follow in that same suit.
But isn't Kirby right about the running thing, though? I mean, don't you have to run some?
Yeah, no. He makes that very clear. You have to run the ball. You at least have to be able to run the ball if you want to win in this league. I think he says that every single day.
The more I look at this stuff, the more I think it's going to be a complicated path for A&M to win this game.
Yeah, it was never a simple path. It was always going to be complicated, even from when A&M hadn't lost a game. But the matter of the fact is this is a game that A&M is capable of winning.
Yes.
At Georgia's downfall.
Yeah, I agree. Well, look, man, this Georgia team, unlike others, has proven they can lose to anyone on their schedule. They can lose to a team that has 4 or 5 wins and will complete the season like that. It's pretty shameful and sad, but I mean, nobody was worried about that when Ohio State lost to Virginia Tech, who wound up with 5 wins in 2014. See
Killed them,
Clemson.
didn't they?
They lost by 2 touchdowns. Yeah. At Ohio State. I mean, going away. It was not a good look. And they recovered. But, I mean, the circumstances were certainly different. But I think, I mean, look, you got a lot of things. If you're A&M, I don't know the last time. Can you think off the top of your head? Would you know the last time Texas A&M played a rain game?
A rain game? No, I can't think.
And that's another thing, man. You're going to throw it 67 to 70% of the time in rain. Could that? Is there any scenario where the offense is in better shape with rain?
For who? A&M?
No, any offense.
And probably not. I mean, maybe if you, I was gonna say a wishbone, maybe, but
we're still getting rid of the ball. I mean,
yeah,
you have to function out there. This is a big challenge for him. I think that's why it's appropriate for this game to be a 13-point line. I don't know, man. Hey, what about Kirby just debunking the Jimbo playing basketball thing? That really kind of cracked him up.
Apparently, Jimbo thought that he was talking about how they played basketball on the LSU staff. Him, Muschamp, Saban, Kirby. But then someone asked Kirby that, and Kirby was like, nah. When I got there, they were all done. He said he said that Jimbo had probably forgotten because he was kind of getting to that age. And then said, it was only me and Muschamp playing when I got there. Saban and Jimbo were long gone on the pickup games.
So Jimbo left LSU in 2006. Kirby was there, I think, in 4. I'm not sure if he was there before that. But then obviously Jimbo went to Florida State after leaving LSU in 2006. Becoming the head coach in 2010 and had won a national championship, multiple conference championships at Florida State, and then had a sort of an ugly divorce with the Noles, and now has a huge contract at Texas A&M. What in the time we have left here, can you explain nicely Texas A&M?
Oh, well, I don't know if you knew this. I've never even mentioned this to you, I don't think. So their fans don't boo. Did you know that?
Okay.
They hiss like snakes.
And how does that work?
I don't know, man. Your guess is as good as mine. They don't boo. They hiss. I'm sure some people boo, but it is a part of their culture. They're not supposed to boo. They hiss.
Okay. I don't know what that means.
Pretty well.
I mean, that's strange.
I'm telling you, man. That's you asked me for a summary, and I think that sums them up pretty well. That fan base, just a bunch of stuff like that. A lot of tradition, man. A lot of weird tradition. Maybe too many traditions.
We all have. Weird. Everyone has traditions.
Yes, that's a part of college football. It's a part of sports.
But now I do kind of wonder, as it relates to the dog. Now, does the dog travel? Does Lassie travel?
I'm not sure.
What is it called? Reveille? Is it Reveille? What is the name of the dog?
I'm not sure what the name is. I don't care.
Well, you're really into this. It's like that now. Like you're just.
It's a cute dog.
Would you get off the bed for a dog?
No. Let's settle with the dog.
Can you explain that deal to the audience?
It just they have too much respect for it. It deserves it. Wherever it goes, it needs to be in the utmost priority of wherever it is, wherever it lies. Hey, I'm not moving for it. I'm in my bed right now, and if they came in right now and jumped up, I would not move.
Are you sick?
No.
Why are you in the bed?
My desk is just cluttered.
Oh. Well, it seems like we're talked out of this game. I want everybody to check the Kirby video that you can see from above. Make sure to click and subscribe. We'll see you on the field Saturday. Dylan, try to stay dry.